Thank you. It's nice to see you in such a big number. So, my name is Robert. I work at Recorder. And today I'm going to tell you a story about how we open sourced our knowledge. And first I'm going to start with explaining why we did it and what do we mean when we say knowledge. Usually there's a saying that says, knowledge is power. And I kind of went into a situation where I was deeply questioned about that, because is really just having some knowledge power, or is it a bit deeper? And to explain what I mean, I will go back 8 years ago when I came to Recorder. I basically ended up in a room where there were 3 people inside. I was one of them. And basically each one of us had some special skills and knew some things better than the other guys knew. And when we had some problem to solve, the approach how to solve it was very easy. You just turned your chair around to the 2 other guys and said, "Hey, I'm solving this. Can anyone help? Do you know something about this?" And someone who didn't know about it, for example, I was the orange guy and I was solving some green stuff. The green person would come to me and help me. The blue one would just ignore it, I don't know it, and just continue their work. And it worked. And basically, the 3 of us in that room, we shared our collective knowledge, and we applied all the things that the 3 of us knew. But then, as time went on, this happened. The number of teams grew as the company grew and the projects grew and stuff. And then it was basically physically impossible to put all the people in one room and to have this, I'm just going to turn my chair around to other people and ask them, "I'm doing this green stuff, can you, all the green persons, can you help me?" And somehow over the years and over the time, I found myself leading all these teams, and I saw that as a problem, because if you look at, the top left team, the green person there, maybe he knew everything about the light green problem, but the dark green stuff was not actually his expertise. And the top right team had a green person that knew everything about the dark green stuff, but didn't know much about the light green stuff. And the thing is, if you look at us as a collective, on a company level, we had the light green knowledge and the dark green knowledge. But when you look at applying that knowledge, we didn't apply it everywhere with the same quality and with the same experience. So to answer that question, is knowledge power? Well, no. Applied knowledge is power. And this was the problem and the challenge that I wanted to solve. So I sat down and started writing what do I want from my solution, because it was clear to me that there's no physical solution. I cannot just put people together and force them to cooperate, because there's too many people. So I'll need to create some virtual small room where they can just turn the chair around and ask everyone for help. So what did I want? I want everyone to have access to all the knowledge from everyone. I wanted everyone to be able to contribute. I also wanted everyone to be able to ask for help, because in the beginning, maybe that's the most important and most crucial contribution that you can make. And that's just saying, not just saying, "I know this and this is good," but saying, "I don't know how to do this. Can someone help me? Can someone solve this better than I would solve it?" Also, I wanted that that people can peer review this, so there's no just one person that says this is it and everyone must comply, but we should talk about it, peer review it. There should be some cooperation. And in the end, I wanted to have a single source of truth, so that anything related to onboarding, education, some kind of quality standard, procedures, instructions, anything like that, that people can come just to one place, search for what they want, and find it. Or if they don't find it, then they can say, look, we need to do this. We need to define how are we doing this. And so I was looking at this, and suddenly just the idea popped in my mind, and I realized that actually we already have a tool that does this, and we use it every day, and it's called Git. And actually we have something, let's say, even better, and that's GitLab, that we have locally set up, and we have all our projects on it. And I got the idea, okay, I'll write all this standards, procedures, onboarding instructions. I'll write it all in Markdown. GitLab can show it, very nice. It has a user interface that will show it very nice, so I don't have any work to do there. And it will be quick, it will be easy, everyone can contribute. It will probably work. And the best thing is, everyone is already using it, so they know how to use it. There's no new education, okay, do this way or that way. So I kind of gave it a 5 minutes thought about it and said, okay, this is it, make it so. So I went to our GitLab, I created a new project, I called it Knowledge, and the first Markdown file that I did was called Why Knowledge, and I tried to explain, the vision and what's the goal of the whole project there. So, in short, I tried to explain there that this should help onboarding, this should help education, this should help rising our quality, and I made some graphics and instructions on how I see that this will progress and what steps we will take in this. And then I needed some content for it, because just putting an empty project and going to everyone and saying just, hey people, can you write everything that you know in here? It's not going to work. So I needed to start something with with a fair amount of content so that people find it useful and start using it. Luckily, we had a lot of content already, but it was all around the place. So we had a lot of standards and some onboarding stuff and educational tutorials and everything else, but some things were on Google Drive, some things were on separate wikis, some things were on documentation for some of the projects and everything else. So I went through all of that, got out everything that was, well, in my opinion, useful. And then I also wrote a bunch of stuff that I knew that might be good. And I split those stuff in 4 sections. One was onboarding, the other one was standards, then experience, where I put everything that we experienced and said, this is the way to do it. We already did it, do it like this. And the 4th one was learn, where basically I put all the tutorials and links to some good tutorials, blog posts, and everything else. And I went to Google image search because I didn't create those nice icons. And I said, I want an icon that's red and onboarding, and found the first image, just put it there. And the same thing for standards, experience, to learn. And then I came to our designers, explained them in like 2 minutes what I wanted to do with this, and showed them this first page that just had those 4 things, that was links to the 4 folders inside this project. And I was hoping for that reaction, and their first reaction was, oh my God, Robbie, not those icons, they're ugly, don't show that to people. Wait, we'll create nice icons for you. Wait, don't give that to the people yet. And suddenly, it was not just my project anymore. They were already helping. And then I realized, okay, so now I created all these structures with folders and stuff and a lot of Markdown files, but how will people find stuff? They can click through the folders, but there should be something else. So I created a little shell script that simply piped the output of tree command to a small PHP script that automatically generated a Markdown file that had all the structure, all the folders and files. So when people come to the first page, they can see everything that's there and get around more easily. And I kind of collected quite an amount of content that we already had, and I launched it. And I launched it in a way that I just wrote an email to everyone and told them, I'm trying to do this. The project is there, use it. There are some standards already, and basically we'll add everything that we know or everything that we develop in standards, onboarding, education, anything, we'll add it there. So please, from now on, use this as one source of knowledge. And I also communicated to them, how will it work? So basically, you have the master branch, that's the thing that's official. So everything that's on master, that must go. That's, this is how we do it. If you want to create something new or change something or even just propose something or just say, we need something, you do a special branch and then an empty file and just a lot of to-dos for someone. I used to do that. That's the way how I got people to, to get involved. I would just create a new branch and put some new files inside and just add operations. Please define this at facility. Please define how you do this, what people must do to cooperate with you and get some stuff and stuff like that. And then I would just send an email to them, could you please do these to-dos because people need this information. And basically on that branch, whatever you start, you can cooperate with other people. And you can collaborate and discuss, and someone can then come and peer review that. You can ask other people for help, and this can go on in circles and circles. And then when you're finished, when you say, okay, this is the best that we know, then you can present it to all of the firm. You do a merge request to the master, and then when we say, okay, this is great, we'll start using it, then it gets merged on the master, and that's it. And so, I kind of launched it, and that was it, hoping that it will catch on. So I kind of went back to it, and when I launched it, I again returned to my list of things that I wanted to achieve with it, and I went, so is everything accessible? Yes, it is. There's this web graphical user interface where even the people from administration could just come. We gave them the access to only this project. They could come, they could read stuff about it, and if they wanted to change something, they can click edit. They don't need to know Git or anything. They can click edit, change it, save it, create a merge request, new branch, everything. So it was really accessible for everyone, and everyone could collaborate. Some were more technically capable, so they were doing it in some special Markdown editors. Some were doing it on the web. So there it is. You can access it, you can contribute, but one thing that I didn't have idea how to solve it was asking for help. Because basically we have our own Slack and all sorts of stuff, so I figured, okay, when someone needs something new, he'll probably ask on Slack, can someone help me? I want to define this, or I need to know this. Or maybe he'll just create, like I did, new empty branches and just with a lot of to-dos, and can please someone fill those to-dos? But then after I sent that email, I went to lunch, and like in half an hour later, I went back to my computer, and I just came to the first page of this knowledge project and clicked refresh. And I remember I felt very, like a little child, and I felt very silly because, come on, half an hour, what's going to happen? You're going to have 50 new branches and 30 new commits, no way, So I went for the refresh, and there it was, 0 new branches, 0 commits. But there, in the menu, there's something called issues in GitLab, and there was number 7 next to it. Okay, somebody did something. So I clicked on it, and there was a colleague that in this first half an hour already submitted 7 issues and said, we need to define this. This thing is missing. We need to know how to do this. And suddenly there were people just commenting, yeah, but I think we should do it like this. And it got started. So I was very happy, even after the first half an hour. So asking for help was no problem because GitLab has this issues feature where you can really ask for help, discuss, and everything else. Peer review, well, it goes without saying, Git and GitLab does it. Also cooperation, you can do it very easily. And single source of truth is, well, basically it was left on me to enforce everyone not to put something somewhere else, but to use this. And it worked. Everything, everything new that we standardize or something, it goes here. And so it's still here after a year and a half, and I would like to go through some things that we learned from it. First of all, what I learned, it's you need to invest a lot of effort and a lot of your time into it, because for the first 2 or 3 months, I was the only one who was creating content and pushing it and adding more and more stuff, and then slowly 2 or 3 colleagues of mine also joined in and created a lot of other content, and people gradually realized that this is useful. I'm going to use it, and if I have something good to share with people, I'm going to put it up there. The other thing that we learned, this was very good for onboarding. At one time, we started giving these leaflets to new people that came to Tricorder that basically told them these 3 things. First, we're going to walk you around the office to get to know the space and the people. Second of all, facility will help you to set up your workspace and your computer. Operations will open the email and GitLab account, and after that, just go to this link. And this is a famous, funny URL shortener in Croatia, and which took you to the onboarding part of our knowledge, and there you had everything. Where can you park your bicycle? Where can you park your car for free? Where can you find a good meal? Where's the bakery? What are the floor plans? Where can you find people from facility, from HR? Everything that you wanted to know about some day-to-day life in the company, you can find it there. You didn't have to, wait for someone to ask you, oh, you're lost, you need something. Everything was there. So it was really helpful for new people, and a lot of new people that come are very happy to have this. And another thing that we learned is that you can really use this to educate people. For example, when GDPR was a big thing, earlier this year, we needed to have some way to educate people about GDPR. So I created a new branch called GDPR, and we put a huge amount of stuff there. But basically, it was just definitions of what is what in GDPR, why is it there, what's the purpose, and stuff like that. So, and then I, again, sent an email to everyone and said, this content is here. Please, you have next 2 weeks to read it, to go through it. After 2 weeks, we have internal show-off. That's like an internal lecture in our company, where you can ask questions, and if something is not clear to you, you can ask about it, and we'll clarify it. After 2 weeks, we had this lecture. People had some questions. We clarified them, and then we pushed the branch to the master, and that was it. That from now on, we know this stuff about GDPR. And immediately they got another set of things, and that was, again, in 2 weeks to go through them. And that was all our standards about privacy, security, and everything else that we must apply and comply with to be able to, to be compliant with GDPR, and that our clients can be compliant with GDPR. And that was really good because it worked. People read it, they got quite amount of information with it, and the best thing was with these standards and procedures, they were really, oh, so we have this standard, we have this procedure, because you can just talk about it, but someone will be sick, won't see it, and everything. And if you give them like a couple of weeks and put it all there, they'll find the time when to go through it and simply, suck it all in. So it was really great. The other thing that I learned is that, initial concepts have to evolve. This is that first page. It's not very, clear where is what. I had to zoom out to be able to put it all on one screen. So basically one colleague that has a lot of contributions and knowledge came to me one day and said, Robbie, this is starting to not make sense. I mean, we have so much content there. It's really useful, but people don't know it's there. They cannot find it. The search on GitLab, it's not good enough for this because it shows you raw markdown. So the search results are bad. You cannot understand what's there. And that first page of yours, it's not readable anymore. There's too much content on it. And immediately, the second day, 2 other guys came to me and said, hey, you know what? We found this great stuff. It's called ViewPress, and it can show markdown files very nicely. It has a nice navigation that you can contract, and when you're on some page, he will just extract that part of the navigation that's connected to your stuff. So this could be very good for knowledge. We're hacking something, so we'll build it. You don't have to do anything. Awesome. And another thing was that it has search. That first it can offer you auto suggestions, but also the search results are much better because it shows the part of markdown but rendered. And what they're doing now, again a bit of hacking, they default ViewPress just searches through the titles of the files. But now they're putting everything in Elastic, and they'll put all the content of the files in Elastic, so they'll connect that search to Elastic and put it there. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I didn't have to think about, what's the solution for this problem that we had with huge content. And, the community works. I didn't have to do anything. And then another colleague came. She's a designer, and she said, okay, this user experience is bad. That first page, it has too many things. People cannot find their way around it. So look, I'll take all the main concept that we have on knowledge. I'll put people in groups. I'll give them cards with those concepts written on cards, and I'll ask them to just to group it, how they see it logical to be grouped, because that's the way how you do it. Okay. Fine, do it. I'm not an expert for it. You are. That's the blue stuff. You're the blue person. I'm the green person. I don't know it. So basically, everyone got involved to make it better. And that's my conclusion. If you have a chance to open source something, do it. For the first period of a couple of months or something, you're gonna have to invest a lot of your time and a lot of your effort, but as soon as you prove to the people that it works, that they have some advantage from it, they will help, and it will be amazing, because overnight it was like, they want to help, they'll do that, and I just stopped doing anything, and suddenly it stopped being my project and became the whole company's project, and we have everything up there. So that's the story. Thank you, and thank to all my community in 3/4 for making all this happen.